You need a great opener, like somehow we're adults. Do.
We can record that right
some
now.
Some kind of like.
We can record that right now.
Everybody be quiet.
Somehow we're adults.
So, is this, what are we going to call this podcast? I guess just like the book club?
I call this, we should do the 9 a.m.ers.
9 a.m. Why is that?
Why?
Because we started at 9 a.m.
The Down to Dirt Roaders.
Hello, NFL 4. Hello, 93.3.
I think just the book club's good because that kind of just says it. And then it'd be like the podcast, the book club, and then I'll put like a colon, and then I'll put the whatever book we read for that podcast. Cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
The
Like
book
that?
club. Yeah.
All right, cool. So for this one, this is the very first one. I picked the first book. I read The 4-Hour Workweek. Thank you, Adrian, for pointing it out. So I sent you guys some notes or like a framework of notes that I wanted to go over to just kind of like keep us on track with what we wanted to talk about. So, couple things. Let me get this pulled up.
Let me see the spreadsheet.
Damn, I got too many notes. Okay. All right. So, brief overview of the book. So, basically, The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. This is basically, so it kind of says, it sums it up on the front of the book where it says, escape the 9-to-5, live anywhere, and join the new rich. But he kind of extrapolates on that in the book too, about like what that means. And it's kind of like a philosophical approach at first, where he talks about, why he believes this is a better option. He kind of explains like why retirement is a scam, like, and just like basically takes what normal society says you should be doing and kind of like flips it on its head, and to live like a very what would you call it, like a very prosperous life, I guess. But I thought it was a pretty good book. What do you guys think?
It was a badass book, man. I liked it.
Yeah,
It was a pretty good book. I haven't finished reading it, but a lot of the things that they're saying, it's like, for instance, the building the team part. Like, I'm like, man, I would struggle on that part because I thought I could do everything myself. And then it was like, once you establish your team, it's just giving out responsibilities to others and kind of like make you kind of get away from everything.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really getting away from it to a point where you're not doing the job anymore, but it's more of like you're letting people just do their own job, making your job easier.
they're not going to do as good of a job as you would do.
Yeah.
But if they're handling it, that's what really matters. It's like, as long as the end result's the same, how they achieve it is whatever.
It takes off the stress from you even more.
Yeah.
80-20 rule. 80-20.
Bro, the 80-20 rule that he mentioned in his book was crazy.
Fire.
He said that 20% of the work is responsible for 80% of the results.
Yeah.
I think that was Pareto's law. And
Yeah.
I think that was also, what's it called? It's Pareto's law, and then there was another one, Parkinson's law.
Parkinson's law.
Yeah, I think that's what he called it in the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off. We'll just all go around the table of our the favorite book highlights. My favorite highlight of the book was basically, he said, define your nightmare. Because so many people they live their life based on the fear, and he like calls it straight out. And he's like, if you're not doing something that you've even contemplated doing, it's because of fear.
Yeah.
If you want to do it and you're not doing it, you're just scared. And why are you scared? You should. And he says, define your nightmare. And then the fears for why you're not doing something. And then he basically talks about you should write an essay to yourself of the worst, like write out the worst possible shit that could happen. Mm-hmm. And then really think about, is it survivable? And it's like, because he talks about like going broke.
I like how he does a lot of examples on, conquering your fear. Mm-hmm. That's what I liked it, because he was like, what would you do if you had a heart attack? What would you do if this was happening? All right, what would you do if this was happening 3 times a week? Like, I like how he keeps going. He'll ask a question, go more in depth with the next and next and next and next question.
Yeah, he extrapolates really well.
So you can find the thins and the nows. Like, the if this was supposed to happen, then I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I really like that.
Yeah. And so, Juan, what was your favorite book highlight? Like, what was the thing that really stuck out to you the most?
It hit me. It was more of like you're often just, are you keeping yourself busy reaching your goals, or are you keeping yourself busy to kind of like distract you or delaying you from
the busy work that he talks about?
That thing hit me, and I was like, am I doing that?
Bro, that shit hit me fucking hard, bro. I was like, why am I doing this shit so often?
Yeah.
Literally, when I read that part of the book, I was like, I check the mail every day. why the fuck do I do that? I was literally like
You can
half the
save
time,
yourself some time.
fucking
doing
10
that.
minutes,
Yeah,
bro. Because
10
like
minutes.
my mailbox isn't right at the house. Like that shit's down the road. Like I gotta go get to it. And you know, I was like, man, I'm wasting time, wasting gas, wasting energy. Like I could be using that time to just chill or read a book or like, you know, do like take my dog on a walk. You know, just different shit. I'm like, I could. This is just keeping me busy. If I checked it once a week, is that really gonna make a big difference? No, it's not gonna make a difference.
I like how he was also at work and he just started realizing like, all right, like with the email, you know, the meetings, like cutting down on all this shit that was so unnecessary. Mm-hmm. He started doing like, all right, well, I'm gonna have an email day, like let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then he was like, all right, they adjusted to that real quick. Now I'm just gonna have it Monday, Wednesday. Yeah, I'm saying now I'm just gonna have it Friday at this time and this time and this time. Yeah. And then when people are accustomed, he's like, well, now I'm gonna have it Friday at 11 a.m. Yeah. And if not, if you don't get to me till
it's between 11 and 1.
Yeah,
if you ain't in there, fuck
dude, that I was like, fuck, dude, like this guy really like, and it's not hard to do, but I guess people like how he says it's the fear of like, oh, well, why would if you know they're not gonna like it or this and that. Yeah. But I really like that too. You know,
I like when like what you were talking about with the 80-20 rule and how he talks about most of it's just busy work. Mm-hmm. When he mentioned how he was running a business. So he sold some kind of, what was it? So like protein powder or fitness powder, so some kind of shit like that, right? And he was saying that he had like 130 wholesale clients, and that of the 130, about 5 of them were the ones who contributed 80% of the revenue. Mm-hmm. And he spent 80% of his time dealing with the other people who made him almost no money.
Yeah, no money. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so I'm working crazy amount of hours for like almost no money. Mm-hmm. He's like, we you know, list top best clients, you know, 1 to 131, and then just took 80% of them away. And that shit was cool to me because I was like, damn, because now he's working, you know, like he's working less, but he's getting paid more per hour if you break it down that way. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Man, this was a good book. You chose a really good book, yeah.
Thank you.
For the first one, I was kind of like, I haven't read a full book like completely in a while after the David Goggins one. Mm-hmm. But, because that book I just bought just to buy. I just wanted to read it, you know. Who doesn't love David Goggins? Right. But when you had this one, I was just like, all right, let me try it out. Let me buy the book so I can actually read it. And yeah, it was a really good book.
Yeah, I think that with this, with what we're doing now, because like I was thinking about it is like, so right before I messaged you guys to even do this, I was reading a book called Atomic Habits. And one of the things is you have to talk about the habits, the good habits that you want to have, you have to make them the easiest things to do. Mm-hmm. And then the bad habits, you have to make them the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, how can I make myself read more but want to read more? Like I want to, but then like you find yourself doing other shit, like going and get the mail 17 times a day. So I was like, you know, like how can I do that? And I figured starting a book club where we're like, if I knew you guys are reading the same book as me and we had a date on the calendar of when we're doing the podcast, because then I have to have the book finished by then. Yeah. That's going to make me like I finished this book a week ago. You know what I mean? Like I finished it quicker. I didn't think I could read a book in a month. Unless I spent so much time reading, and I really don't feel like I spent so much time reading. I felt like I was just consistent with it.
Yeah, you could have literally probably read
5
this
a.m.
book
in the morning.
You were. But that's a good time though. That's when you're supposed to read.
You know what I did? I would wake up at 5 a.m. I'd play on my phone for a little bit to help like get actually like wake up.
Yeah, wake up.
And then I would go make my pre-workout. And I would sit and drink my pre-workout while I was reading the book, so that way when I got done with the pre-workout, then once it starts to kick in, you can feel it kick in, put the book down, hit my workout, and then once my workout got finished and I was exhausted, I'd sit back down and read while I drink my coffee.
I'm definitely going to go audiobook next time though.
You think so?
Yeah, just because it was a little harder for me to actually read and sit down and read, because that's not how I am. I don't like to sit down and read, but I wanted to try for this book and I did it, but I think I'm going to try audio for the next one, and then I'm going to compare like, all right, how did I learn more sitting down and reading the book, or did I learn more with the audio?
That's a good point.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna give it a shot.
I've done audiobooks before, and they don't stick as much. Like the information doesn't hit me as much. Yeah. Like I listened to The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Mm-hmm. I listened to that one, and like
I bought that book too.
Yeah, it's a good book, but like I just couldn't tell you much about it. You know what I mean? Like I could tell you a couple things that really hit me, but like if I'm going to listen to something, I'd rather it be music or conversations, like podcasts. Yeah. I like conversational podcasts or like storytelling podcasts, but like one that's a book, it's harder for me to focus. What I like about reading is like I can't have any distractions. Yeah. So like with audiobooks, I'd be driving somewhere and I'd be like I would start to focus more on driving, less on the book. You know what I'm saying? And for some reason, when I'm listening to a conversation, I'm focused more on the conversation kind of thing. So just for me, it works better to actually sit down and read. Plus, it helps me build that discipline of reading that I want. So what was your favorite highlight of the book?
Mine, it's not really a highlight, but I really liked how he had quotes all throughout the book from famous people back in the day. You know, that was like my favorite thing about the book. But if you want to highlight, I think my favorite highlight was how he says, ask for forgiveness, don't ask for permission. That was one. That was a big one. And I've heard that a long time ago already, you know? So now that's what I do. I implement that, and I just love to see how he implements it too. You know, knowing that I'm doing something right and he mentions it again, like...
If you go back to the fear part that he was talking about, it's like most people don't do stuff out of fear. And I feel like most people won't let you do stuff out of their fear. You know what I'm saying? Can I get you to scoot a little bit this way? You're like right at the edge of the camera. Good, brother. But most people, like if you ask me, hey, Ryan, can I do XYZ on the podcast? I'll be like, oh, bro, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not. Just to give an example, like I wouldn't let you do something out of fear. But if you did something and I didn't like it, then I could just apologize. But if it turns out to be good, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of the way I look at it is you can't let other people's fear impact their decision. If you know, sometimes they just have to experience it and then go, oh, was that so bad? You know what I mean? Yeah. So
now what was your favorite highlight, bro?
We went over mine. Define your nightmare.
Yeah, pay attention, bro. God damn.
I thought that's what you were just starting out with.
No, that was my favorite part of the book because as
fuck you.
As
damn, dude. It's like in class, man. You can't pay attention.
I was just like, you guys trying to call me out.
that he was just trying to be nice, okay? He's like, oh, right, you know what, Ryan? What's yours? I always go first.
It's like, I'm hung.
I'm a
little hungover, man.
the define your nightmare thing was my favorite because so many people let fear decide their lives. Yeah, they don't do something because they're scared of the negative outcome, and I felt that in my fucking chest when he was talking about it. So, you know, when he was talking about write it out, look at it, and determine, like, is it really so bad? Because most of the time we make it a bigger deal in our minds than it actually is.
I mean, it's the same thing with starting a business. Like when you started your business or your podcast, what did your dad didn't want you to do it or something like that?
Bro.
Yeah. And
probably.
That was probably holding you back. Like not so much to a point where it was like, oh, like, yeah, but you've had those thoughts like, oh, I shouldn't do it. Same thing with bartending.
We're so scared of what other people would think.
Yeah,
that was really what it was.
Yeah, even with the barbershop, probably. I know you had people that are like, "Oh, don't do it." Blah blah blah. This.
Oh yeah, all the time, bro.
Yeah.
But then again, those are the people that just want to see you where they're at. You know
they want to hold
see
you down.
Complacent. Yeah. If they see you go up, then they're gonna feel some type of way about themselves, insecurity.
Is really what they're doing is they're passing their fears off to you.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. Yeah, they're like, "Oh, I'm scared to start a business, so you should be too."
But like, I love when people try to tell me that, like try to like talk me out of something, because I'll just hit them with I know, but I'm still gonna do it. Yeah, like bro, bro, when they're trying to really like prove a point, and not like they're probably doing it for good reasons, you know, good intentions, or if maybe not, you know what I'm saying? But I always like to see their facial expression when I'm like, yeah, you're right, I can see you, but I'm still gonna do it. Bro, I love that shit.
This new book that I'm reading, that I started just as like an extra book, because now I'm like addicted to reading this kind of shit. Yeah. But I read one of the books that he mentioned in this book as like a recommendation. And one of the things that they're talking about in that one is like, he gave a story about this guy who went to college and studied why businesses fail. And that's all he did for his entire thing. So, and he wanted to start a business, but all he did was look at why businesses failed. So he never started his own business because he was so scared, because the only perspective that he had is why they fail, not why they succeeded. And he's like, wow, if I could go back and change it, I would have wanted to look at why businesses succeed. Yeah. Because looking at why they fail, it compounds that fear in your mind of why they fail. Yeah. And then that just puts you down on like, I'm going to fail mindset. So, you know, I look at business now as like, you know, there's a potential for failure, but I'm not going to be like that. That's not what's going to define what I'm going to do. It's like, have you ever heard the quote, the difference between success and not succeeding is like, successful people are standing on top of their failures instead of underneath them. Yeah. And that's really what it is.
I like that.
I mean, I like failures, man, though. I love failures.
I mean, I don't like them.
But you definitely I love failures.
You grow from them.
Because it's like, it makes you feel like shit, but you're always, it's always gonna be on the top of your head. You're always gonna be thinking about it, like, dang, like,
Yeah.
well, why didn't it work out? And right there, you're already thinking. You're already like, how am I gonna get around this obstacle?
I'm with Juan on this one.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you before we even came on the podcast. I was like, oh, I love when my dad tells me that shit. I love when my dad says, "Oh, like you can't do this shit." You know what I'm saying? I love that shit. You know?
Oh, watch me, motherfucker.
Yeah. And to this day, I grab my dad from behind, like, and grab him, like, you know, like a little headlock. And I was like, "You didn't think I could do it, huh? Well, I'm right here, showing you I can, nigga." But that's just how me and my dad get along. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I got you. So I don't like I guess the way I look at what you just said was I don't like failing. I think there's good stuff in it. Have you ever seen you know who Jocko is? The podcaster. He owns a company called Origin. I drink his supplements, like protein powder shit. I'll have to show you guys afterwards. But there's a video called
the Navy SEAL guy.
Yeah. There's a video on YouTube.
That's the guy you keep telling me about.
Good. Have you seen his video? Good. That's kind of what he's like. Oh, it failed. Good.
I see it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Good.
Bro, it's like a 2-minute long video, but I could fucking kick down a wall when I watch that video. You know what I mean?
I remember seeing that. I was just started laughing at that shit.
Yeah, I was like,
good.
Yeah, I was like, damn, he's kind of right.
Yeah,
he's kind of right.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's never gonna be. You just have to. If you expect to start something and not fail, then that's irrealistic.
Yeah,
things are gonna not work out, and you're gonna have to problem solve. Because that's really what I mean. If you look at like to me when I look like study successful people or what in my mind are successful, they failed a bunch of times and they got through it. It's how many times can you get through it?
Oh yeah.
So now I'm gonna go through my list of like I put a couple things on the things that I like about the book. I love the quotes, like what you were saying, bro. The quotes throughout the book. He just sprinkles them throughout ideas too, and some of them are like really fucking good. I've highlighted a couple of them. We'll go over our highlights.
Yeah, my book's all over highlighted right now,
bro. Yeah. So I've highlighted some of my favorite quotes, and they all kind of like whenever he puts a quote in, most of the time it's what that quote is saying is like a quick synopsis of what he's about to talk about. Yeah. So I like that. The next thing I have here is I like the philosophy that he goes over in that because that's really what it is. The book is a philosophical view of life. Yeah.
It really talks about what he went through and how he perceived everything and how he changed his mindset.
Yeah.
And he literally says it. It's like stages in the book. All throughout the chapters, they're all stages to the next. All right, you did this. Now you can do this.
Right.
Yeah. Now whatever you learned on right here can go into this. So that's what I really like.
Give me 1 second. I'm worried if the camera stopped. It seems like it stopped.
No.
Let's hold that thought, and then we'll go to Pawn's likes.
Somehow we're adults.
All right. So sorry about that momentary pause in video. I don't know when it cut out, but we're back. So. All right, Juan, what were your favorite things that you liked about the book?
So I was listening it through the audiobook. So the thing with the audiobook is very kind of, I'm not saying it's monotone, but the majority of it is.
That's what makes me lose my interest in audiobooks.
Yeah, exactly. So like when I'm driving, it's like you listen it to for a few minutes, and it takes a while for it to start hitting. Like okay, like now I can listen to this guy. But what's it called? The quotes is always one of them, but it's like the laws and like the theories of what he goes through. So the 80-20 rule and how it has like different types of theories, like you can call it Pareto's law or Parkinson's law. And then there is the building a team part. So every time I would listen to it, whenever I would feel like something like change, like not so much change as like, it's like a mental shift. That's when I would have to stop the audiobook. And then kind of think back to like, all right, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
What am I doing right? Let me adjust this. Let me adjust that. And I haven't finished the book, but by doing that.
Why?
Hey. Well, by doing that.
Bro, I see your Instagram stories, dude. You got so much time.
If you adjusted your life like how this fucking book made us adjust, you would have fucking got it done. Are you a fucking dog? Are you a savage? Do you look at your fucking self in the mirror and think you're a savage or not?
Okay, so the next book we're reading is David Goggins because this motherfucker apparently needs some inspiration.
If you want this shit, who's gonna carry the boat? Who's gonna carry the boats? Shut I'm motivated, bro. We're in the podcast. Bro. Come on. If you want time to go read the book, there's a room right there next door. Go grab the book and go finish it.
Sit in the hammock, dude. I got that rocking chair, dude.
Just play.
I'm gonna start calling you at 5 a.m. when I'm reading, bro. Like, where you at, bro?
Yeah. I'm asleep. I'll probably be awake though.
I know.
Nah. Juan's a busy dude, bro. He really is. I'm not even gonna lie about it.
I'm a hardworking Mexican.
No, that's the thing. It's like,
know.
at first I would tell people like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But then I'm like, I'm getting tired of that shit. Like, I don't want to tell people what I do anymore. Like, that shit gets boring.
Yeah.
It does, bro.
So, like, now, like, when I'm in class, they'll say, like, oh, like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm reading this book. And they'll be like, oh, what's it called? Like, the 4-Hour Workweek. So I'll have the book in my possession. So, like, now it got to a point where it's like, okay, if I wake up early and I go to work and I leave work and I come, like, to school an hour early, maybe that's the time when I can start reading.
Have you ever tried reading while you're driving?
Well, that's the audio book.
No, bro, the actual book, bro.
But then, like, it's like, okay, like, I'm here an hour early before school. Like, do I have to read the book or do homework that's due that day or, like, later on in that week? So it's like, okay, like, it's very, like you said, like in the previous podcast, time poor. But with the shift, like, establishing the team, stuff like that, bro, it's like I'm starting to get, like, a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So it's slowly and slowly. So whatever that book is saying, I'm actually adjusting to it with the whole, like, emails, finding, like, it basically finding your good target audience.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times when I started the bartending, I wanted to get, like, all these gigs, all these people, like, because, you know, you would think, like, with a bunch of consumer, like, traffic coming at you, you think you're going to be doing really well. Probably happened to you. It happens in the barbershops a lot.
Most
like, when they're freaking charging, like, $15 a haircut. Now, are you going to kill yourself for $15 a haircut all the time? So it's like you have all these bunch of people filling up your barbershop, and it's like, man, I hardly have time to go for myself. Like, let me increase the price, you know, separate the freaking
make the same amount of money for less work.
Yeah, so then, like, let's say you separate it, you do 25. Now the ones that were paying 15 is like, oh, you usually pay 25. Great, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want those customers here and there. I mean,
They have to understand too. In that realm, it's like I when you raised your prices on your haircuts, I couldn't blame you at all. I'm like, dude's busier than shit. Like, he should, like, you're a human. You're not a fucking machine. You shouldn't keep your prices low and continue to kill yourself trying to make that.
No, never.
If you can increase your prices, like, if I didn't want to pay that price for my haircut, then that's okay. Like, no harm, no foul. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. Like, do I want to keep paying $15 a haircut? Fuck yeah, dude. Shit, everything's expensive right now. But, you know, I'm not. You're a person too. You got to decide what's best for you and your family. And I can't blame you for doing that, because I would do the same in your shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah, and it was even I had to adjust the freaking dumpster trailer, the prices. I would have some concrete guys. Like, at first, when I first started, everything's a learning lesson there. You can do your own research. I saw, like, quotes from, like, $2 to $6, like, a foot, right? So I remember, like, I was like, you know what? I have a bunch of trailers. Let me get a bunch of, like, people trying to rent these things. I had one guy that was like, yeah, I have, like, 80 square feet of concrete once removed. So I was like, yeah, I can do it. And I was like, let me just go with $1, right? This was me starting out in the trucking business, like, not trucking, the hauling business. Trucking business would start once I get that CDL license, because then I'm able to tow stuff. But with the concrete, you know, they put it on the trailer, and I see how they would throw it on the trailer. It's like, you see the trailer shift. I'm like, man, it's kind of fucking up my trailer and shit. And then, you know, you go dump it, you come back, you know, whatever, you get your pay, whatever. But I'm like, then I had, like, one of the same guys who was like, hey, I have a job. It's like 100 and something, like 75, like, square feet of concrete. It was like an hour away. And he was like, yeah, it's still $1 a concrete, right? And I was like, no, like, for you, I'm not going to charge, like, $1 now. I gotta incorporate the transportation fee, because diesel is not cheap.
It's going up, insurance going up, all that shit, bro.
All that shit. So you're like, and I gave him a price. He didn't like it, and I was like, what do you expect? Like, I'm not gonna be driving all the way over there wasting my gas, so I can charge you $75. It'll probably cost me $75 just to get to you over there.
Yeah.
So it's like, all these things that the book's telling me, like, okay, you're adjusting yourself, you're trying to get through a good target audience. It's not only just making me, like, adjust to get to that target audience, but it's also making me do, like, reevaluate the financial, like output and input that I'm putting into either the bartending business, the trucking business, or even the roofing. Like, I'm not there yet. I mean, I'm still studying that book too, but with that one, it's more of like, all right, you take the test. you don't get the questions right. It'll tell you, hey, look in this book to find the questions.
Yeah.
You go into the book to find that question. It's like, okay, on top of that, do your homework for school. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, make sure you're reading.
Yeah.
It's a lot, bro.
You're getting pulled in like 1,000 different directions.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
I find ways around it. So audiobooks is like, okay, I can kind of keep up. Maybe not to a point where it's like, yes, I do prefer to have a book in front of me.
Right.
You get more out of it. You read it in your own way, and you kind of like, maybe at first when you started out, it's like, you're not getting the rhythm right. But once that rhythm clicks, bro, you can't put that book down.
Bro, I've started, so I kind of thought the same thing too, like when we first started, I was like, bro, I have to find the time to read. Like, I just need to. Like, I don't understand why. Like, I'm like, where's all my time going? I felt just so busy. And most of it was like that 80-20 rule. Like, I was staying busy with shit that didn't fucking matter. And then I realized, I was like, how much fucking time do I spend on my phone? Just time wasting. So, like,
the good thing about that, it tells you on your iPhone. That's what I love about iPhone. It tells you like how long you're on your phone for the day, how many hours you did a week, how many hours of power usage you did for the month. And when it goes to the month, you're like, damn, I wasted 2 days on fucking
Instagram.
I wasted two solid days, 48 hours of my life.
I'll never get it back.
That I'll never get back. And that shit puts in perspective.
And I can't tell you what I learned when I was on there for those 2 days and nothing. You know what I mean?
I actually learned a lot on Instagram. I'm not even gonna lie. I do.
Right, you do learn a lot.
It depends what you follow, though. It really depends what you follow.
Because you set up your algorithm.
You set up your
Before we go to your likes, Adrian, of the book, what are the things that I noticed to read more was like the amount of time gaps that you have throughout the day that you use your phone to fill. Like, that's the thing I started to notice, because like I wake up in the morning, I play on my phone. Like, I go have my coffee. While I'm drinking my coffee, I play on my phone. When I'm taking a shit, I play on my phone. Like, if there's a lull at work, I play on my phone. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these times, and it adds up to being like 3-4 hours a day that I'd be playing on my phone. And I'm like, okay, how do I cut that number in half or less? So I set a block on my phone. Where I can only be on Instagram for an hour a day. And when there's only 5 minutes left, and that shit goes, you got 5 minutes left on this fucking app. I'm like, God damn.
What are you doing, scrolling faster?
No, not even. I just go, okay, I need to get off this fucking thing. And then after I hit the time, like, I can hit a button to ignore it, but I have to make that mental decision where it's like, I'm going to allow this take more of my day today than it should. And like, bro, since I started doing that, I find more time to read, because I have to tell myself, like, okay, you hit your time limit for the day, you better fucking find something else to, it forces you to be bored.
Yeah.
And like, because your phone is just a way, you're avoiding boredom. And I think being bored is okay I think more people need to be bored.
No, it's even crazy. Like, I went to the mall the other day because I was trying to buy a good shirt for like the gig yesterday.
Yeah.
I couldn't find one. But but as I'm walking towards the mall,
the fit was solid though.
Yeah, the fit was solid.
Yeah, you had a nice fit.
It's the build.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys want me to leave the room?
No.
No.
Do y'all need some privacy?
We'll do that in the car.
Hey. So I remember I was walking through the mall, and in the Brandon Mall, and you see everybody just on their phones. You can see they're all on their phone because they're not comfortable making like basic communication with other people, or just even walking around. So I'm like, man, like, everybody's on their phone, man. I'm gonna go get some ice cream, shit. Like, nobody's in the ice cream line. Like,
I don't know how you connected that.
These guys are wasting opportunity.
Where the fuck that came from?
All these people playing on their phones. I'm gonna go get a Big Mac.
But it's like everybody's so like,
how the hell do you break those two together?
Hey, there's no line.
Yeah, there's no line on this podcast.
It's like, you see
just wanted ice cream. He's like,
I'm like, bro,
I think he just wanted just to say that he got ice cream. I think that's what those
these people playing on their plane. I'm gonna go buy a jet. Like, the fuck is that?
No, but
I'm gonna go into this car raffle in the middle of the fucking mall, like, all the time.
Like, you'll have like, it's kind of like, I'm not saying. It's kind of like people watching.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like, let me see what customers are doing now that's different. So this is why like digital marketing is so huge, is because everybody's on their phones.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you're going to advertise, hey, freaking Hungry Howie's from Plant City does it. Like, every time I'm scrolling it's right there. He's like, man, I know I follow these guys, but at the same time, like I'm seeing these guys like 4 or 5 times a day.
Yeah,
and
makes you think about it. Makes you want pizza more often.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a hard sell and a soft sell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen 2 business people go at it. Like, no, a hard sell is always gonna sell. You know, that's like Andy Elliott. He's pushing it in your face. He's like, well, if you don't know what you want, then I know what you want. You know, he finds a solution. That's a hard sell.
Yeah.
A soft sell is usually about, you know, it's like, well, if you don't know what you want, you can come back later. You know, I'm gonna give you like. But there's always 2 conflicts about that. But it's kind of like the marketing, you know.
Right.
You
it depends on your person. Some people need hard selling. Some people want soft selling.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
hard selling puts me off. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm not.
I get it from somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not a big time like fanatic of a hard sell, and that's why I only can listen to like a little bit of Andy Elliott because that's all he is. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like how he came off on that video because it was literally about arguing about a soft sell and a hard sell.
Yeah.
He kind of put me off like that. I think if you do a hard sell, I don't know, you seem like an asshole, like a dick. You know, like you're coming off.
You're
too
just
strong.
trying to get that commission, bro. And that makes me. I don't like that.
Like you look
car dealers.
you look needy. You know, like you look like you're just a savage for money. You know what I'm saying? That and that turns me off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No homo.
So what was your likes about the book, Adrian?
My likes about the book, man, I have it written down in my notes. It's really, I think the chapter 2 one, bro. Like the beginning of the book was really good for me. The end of the book is like things I already knew.
Yeah.
Kind of towards things I was already new, and like everything in the beginning was new. I really liked how it taught me how to read a lot better.
Oh yeah,
that was like one of the biggest things. Like reading a book taught me how to read better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's like that shit just blew my mind. I was like, I read it like fast. I read it quick, and I was just like, wait, what the fuck did that just say?
Yeah.
I said if I follow this, if I put my finger like or have like a little pencil underneath like where I read, it makes me read faster. And I tried it, bro. After that, I tried it on the whole book. Put something under it, and then I read the first
point
word.
at what you're reading.
Yeah, point out what you're reading. Read fast. You know, don't like it. Not really read fast, but read in your like in your mind. That makes you read faster too. Reading in your mind with versus saying it out loud, like word by word. And then also reading. Let's say you have a sentence. Let's say you have 3 words. You read the first one and the last, and then you leave the middle. But you like. It's kind of weird how he said it too.
Yeah,
like you have.
He said you have to read like try reading the 3 words in front of the word you're reading.
Yeah, in front of the word. And I couldn't understand what he meant by that, but I was just like, okay, I see the word in the beginning, I see the middle word. I'm not gonna pay attention to it until I get to there. You know what I'm saying? And then I see the last one. So
it's like you don't hang on each word.
Yeah,
you're glazing over each word. You know what I mean? Like you're just like sliding over it. And also
it stuck, bro. Like it really stuck. I thought I was like, oh, this is just skimming. You know, this shit just looks like skimming. Like, but
and he also said when you pick up the book to read, read as fast as you possibly can.
Yes.
And he goes, because then if you slow down, you're still going to be reading faster than you would have otherwise. Like, that really helped me too, because I've been trying to do that, and I'm reading way faster.
Bro,
now.
in the beginning of the book, I was like, man, it's just gonna take me forever to finish this fucking book.
400
and then when
pages
when I got to chapter 2 and it taught me, I was like, oh. I was texting on the group chat. I was like, almost done, almost there. Boom, I'm done with it already. I like that, and I also liked. This is like a big thing for me. I liked how he said, less is not laziness.
Right.
I love that, dude, because I have a big. I'm getting off. I have a big.
Damn, how many times you said it?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to. I lost.
All right, go back.
No, that just came out.
Whoa!
You made me lose what I was about to say, bro. I have a big.
Bro, oh my god.
Tengo un grande. Nah, but
You said less is not lazy.
I have a humongous problem with I have an astonishing problem. But I have a problem with I try to make time for what I want to do now, and I consider that laziness, and I shouldn't. When I know I shouldn't, but it's just something that it's instilled in me. You know what I'm saying? Like I always thought busy was more, but I learned that 3 years ago that it's not.
Yep.
But I have a hard time coping with that.
Yeah.
Less is not laziness. I just have a hard time accepting that, even though it's true.
That's why I said going back to that like blocking myself from Instagram, because I find myself more bored now.
Yeah.
And like, but that's okay to be bored.
Yeah.
And if I think about doing something, I'm like, okay, is what you're doing something that needs to be done, or are you doing it so that way you're busy? Because naturally, like that's one thing that he talked about in the book is like naturally, like how many people you know that seem like they're spinning their wheels in the mud, like metaphorically speaking, and they're constantly busy, but they're doing nothing. Bro, I can list like 5 people right now that I know that they're doing nothing, but they're constantly busy. But they're busy for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, to me, I'm just making sure what gets my attention is really worth it. And so because of that, I find myself more bored now, because I realized how much of this shit in my time was actually just pointless.
Yeah. And you start realizing that, man. Once you follow these, I don't want to say instructions, but once you follow the lifestyle of this guy right here,
bro,
it would really. And I've
it's
seen
a game
myself,
changer, bro.
I've seen myself getting more. You know how you see a millionaire or a business person, you think they're just assholes.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that. It's just they're really worried about their time,
bro.
They're worried about their time, and I'm starting to get like that now. Because if you're talking to me and it has, let's say you're trying to tell like no meaning and it just like drama, you're trying to tell me some cheeseman, which is like, you know, gossip. I do not have time for that, bro. I literally walk away. Or I'll be like, all right, like
are you coming to me for advice, or are you coming to me to vent? Because if you're coming to me to vent, if you're really close to me, that's fine.
That's fine.
But if you're just some person, it's like, all right, bro.
I don't have time for that. Or if they're trying to tell me a story, how I hear this story all the time. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. And I've been knowing you for 4 years, and you still haven't done shit. Like, all right, bro. Like, bro.
Dang, dude.
Nah,
the conversation of the barbershop gonna change.
Bro, but when you do that, and it just annoys me, you know, because if I'm telling you to do it and you haven't done it yet, and I've been telling you this for 4 years, and you're coming to me all excited every year, boom, boom, boom. Oh, I can't wait. It's finally my time. It was your time.
Yeah.
Now you're late on your time,
bro.
You know what I'm saying? And I hate that.
Yeah.
Because I found that out back when I was younger. You know, I was like, I got to do this right now. You know, I got to stop saying, because my whole goal was I'm gonna get the barbershop at 35. Like I set that time.
Dang,
I read
35.
I told myself,
hey, bro, you're on track to do that. You're on track to have it by 35. Oh wait,
did he already go?
No.
And it took my mentor to tell me, and he read it somewhere, I forgot where, but there's a really famous author that puts it in a book. But my mentor, he recited it to me. He was just like, if you want it done in a year, you can do it in a year. If you want it done in a month, you'll do it in a month. If you want it done in a day, you'll do it in a day.
Yep.
And I put that to perspective. He was like, if you really want to start your business, do it in a year.
Yeah.
From that advice, from him sitting in my chair and me going a whole year and doing it, it happened, bro. Yeah. And that's why I believe in manifestation. I have it tatted on my fucking neck. You know, manifest your destiny.
Yeah.
All you got to do is manifest it. Don't just talk about it. Put it into action.
That's why Elon Musk, he sets these outrageous timelines.
Yeah.
Because he's like, okay, so if we say we're gonna do something in 6 months, like say they're gonna do if you have 2 different timelines, we're gonna do this in a year or we're gonna do this in 6 months. Yeah. If we do it in 6 months and we don't finish it, we're gonna be much closer in that 6 month time period than we would be if we said it was in a year.
In a year, yeah.
Yeah. And like,
I love Elon Musk.
Yeah, I'm that same kind of person though. Like if there's something I want to do, I try not to let fear be my guiding thing, and I just fucking start it. That's why I started the podcast. That's why I do. I mean, jiu-jitsu took me 2 years to start jiu-jitsu. I was wanting to do jiu-jitsu for like 2-3 years before I actually started, and I kept saying like, oh yeah, one day, you know, I want to get in the best shape of my life before I do it. I had all these limiting, like all these things that were excuses. They were that's it. They were just excuses that prevented me from doing it now. And that's one thing he talks about.
Yeah, and he refers to the book. Yeah. What are your fears?
Yeah.
All right. How can you write down your fears and see how you can tackle them each day?
Yep.
And bro, like once you do that, man, you're golden, bro. Like
that's why it's hard for me to hear excuses now from people where I'm just like,
wasting time.
Stop looking at what's preventing you from starting today and look at what you can start today. That's what I look at. Yeah.
It even talked about in the book of the whole setting a time limit thing. When you're doing homework, for instance, a lot of people procrastinate, and then they can get that homework done.
I'm just going to do it until I do it. Yeah.
Because what happens when you procrastinate and you wait till the last day? You fucking do it in a day, bro. Stressed out. Yep. You know, you're on some stressed out shit, but you do it in a day.
Even if you had like maybe a month to do it. So.
Yeah. I've always been like that too, though.
Yeah, no.
I usually wait till the very end, but I mean, with this book, I was trying to try different methods, and I was reading like 5, not like 5 pages, like 4, 3 pages a day just to get it done.
Yeah. I was trying to set a pace because like I don't know about you guys, but when I was in high school or in college, when they would assign us a book to read, bro, it'd be the fucking week that we were supposed to be done reading it. I'd be picking that motherfucker up for the first time. You know what I'm saying? and I'm trying to I get like 30 to 50% of the way through, and there's like, what was the idea of the book? And I'm like, well, Spark Notes says.
Dude, I went all the time. I never read. I read my first book in college, but after that, and I figured out Spark Notes, Quizlets, bro. I was on.
Well, you know why? You know why I didn't read the books in high school? I didn't fucking want to read those books. These are the kind of books I wanted to read.
Yeah,
these are what I wanted to read. If I could have read
in high school, you had that mentality in high school to read
these kind of books.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
So but they were making you read shit in our.
What book
class.
in high school did you read that was close to one of these?
In high school, none of them, because all the books that's why I thought I hated reading.
Because why didn't you go to the library and get the book yourself? Know to know if you wanted.
Bro, you guys not remember, bro? That was like Fat Ryan, bro. I was just trying to do homework. Homework, shit, dude.
I just thought something. I'm on the David Goggins shit, bro. I'm sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so when I got out of high school, my idea was like, I hate reading.
Yeah.
Because all my examples of reading, except minus one book, I hated reading. Like the book Hatchet that you read in like 8th grade. I love that book. Yeah. And I was like, but that made me realize that I can like reading if I like what I'm reading. But they don't teach you that in school. They teach you to suffer through. And that's what they set you up to suffer through life, because you suffer through school. Mm-hmm. You suffer through doing the shit you don't want to do.
School is like a chore, man.
Bro.
You know, that's all it teaches you to do your chores.
And that's why when people get jobs that pay well, they just view it like it's a chore, and they do something they don't want to do. And that's what he talks about here. He's like, if you're like, I like how he talks about it. He's like, if you don't like what you're doing, he's like, fucking do something different. Make less money. Go somewhere, make more money. Like, whatever you have to do, like, you're going to have to do it for a long time. You better you have one life. You have one fucking life.
If you really want to read this book on how to quit like your job, it tells you literally how to quit your job.
It teaches you how to threaten your boss.
Yeah,
bro.
It gets you to threaten your boss without verbally doing it. Without verbally, you know what I'm saying? I really like that in the book too. It was talking about you want to make yourself indispensable? Well, do this and this and that. You know what I'm saying? This is the way you do it.
Yep.
You ask your fucking employer, you know what? Like, you don't have to pay me anything more. Just give me some trainings a year.
Yeah.
You know, put that on your resume. So when they do get the chance you're in the room with executives and they're talking about firing you, well, they're going to look at all 50 employees. Well, not this guy. You know, this guy, he spent the time and he didn't want no raise. He wanted training.
Yeah.
Let's keep him. He's a big asset.
Yeah.
And then let's keep him, but let's up his pay.
And then not only that, he mentions he's like put your resume out, apply for some other jobs in the same field doing the same thing, and see how much they're willing to pay you.
Yeah.
He's
just
like, see how much they're willing to pay you, and then you can use that as leverage when you talk to your boss. Be like, actually, I've got 2-3 other job offers for doing the same thing elsewhere for X amount of money. Like,
you can even throw a little white line.
I don't want to go to there because I'm here where I'm at now. I'm already established here. I know everybody. I'm doing great here. What can you do to make me more competitive? You know what I mean? And then bro, I like that shit a lot.
Yeah, that point right there, I was like, damn, bro. Like, how, like, if only I worked for somebody, you know? I was like, that was a humble saying right there. If only I worked for somebody, I would have tried some shit like that, bro. Because I'm very edgy. I like to push the envelope. You know, I've always been like that. I always like to not tick people off on purpose, but make them feel uncomfortable. You know? Yeah. That's
bro. You make me uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah.
But
I hate when you do that.
All right. So dislikes. Is that all the things you had written down that you liked?
Man, I like a lot of things about this book, but it's hard to choose, but I'm picking the things that other viewers don't find too confusing, don't find it too hard. You know, I want to make sure, because not a lot of people can understand these type of books. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people can read this book and understand it the first time.
It's a perspective and mind shift. When you pick this book up, you have to pick it up with the idea that, like, I am okay with changing my mindset. Yeah. And even if you aren't, like, even if you think you're stuck in life, you should still pick this book up and read it, because it's going to make you realize you're not. Yeah. And that's something that would be beneficial for somebody. Like, I think about where I was like 3 years ago. If I would have picked this book up then, I would have, like, my timeline would have been accelerated for what I'm doing now. You know what I mean? I would have started the podcast sooner. I would have done, like, changed jobs sooner. And
if you apply it. Right. Because reading could be good or bad. Yeah. I don't know if you ever heard that too.
Yeah. So many people will read a bunch of books and they'll be experts on how to do something in their mind, but they've never translated it to the real life.
And that's really like how my boy on Instagram, we were talking about a book. My boy Anthony, he does a lot of fitness, and we were talking about books, and I told him the same thing. I was like, hey man, don't get too caught up in these books. You know, you can read all you want, but you got to apply it. Right. And he literally said, he's like, yeah, man, it's like mental masturbation. Like, you're really just getting off on these books and you're never going to. And I was like, right, bro, that's a weird way to say it. But yeah,
that's 100% right, though. Yeah. Because so many people would be like, oh, yeah, I read that book, but that doesn't work for me. Yeah. That doesn't work for me. Like, bitch, have you tried it? Or you have this self-limiting belief?
Yeah. Are you you're self-doubting yourself?
Yeah.
And you haven't tried. Yeah.
Yeah, so those were some of my key points for that, and I'm glad you guys wrote some dislikes of the books. No, I could understand audiobook how this part would be hard, but there's a lot of parts where there's bullet point stuff that could have been moved to like a specific section of the book, like a resource section or something. And I get he did it to just make it to where it's like if he had made the resource section in the back of the book, and it's like, okay, go to the resource section here to find resources to help this, then you would never look at it, and then you'd be like, oh, well, I just don't know where to start. So I get why he put the, like, when he goes bullet, he's like, here's all these websites you can use to do this automation shit. But like, to me, as somebody who's reading a book who's trying to read all of the book, when it got to those parts, I was kind of like, I was like, man, feel like I need to read these, but I'm just reading URLs right now. Like, why these URLs are good, but I didn't like that, but I get why he did it. Yeah. And then the other thing is that this book was updated in 2009. I think it was written in like 2006 or 7. Yep. And so my other thing was going to be, it's not updated for today, but just like the Bible isn't updated for today either. It's based on stories from when it was written. Yeah. It's the same thing with this. To me, these are like, you have to take the principles of what he's saying. Obviously, dollar figures are going to be off because everything's gotten more expensive. Yeah, and the website URLs might not exist anymore. The company might be closed down.
Can I put my political view on this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather not say. No, I'm just
okay.
I don't know. I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to see if I can push the envelope, but no, we're good.
No, you're good, bro. You can say whatever you want.
All right, bye.
I want you to be you on here, bro.
Oh, okay. I'm me, baby.
Okay.
I'm right here.
So what you gonna say?
Nasty and dirty.
What you gonna say? It's just me and Juan right here right now.
Oh no, and the camera and the viewers.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can't think like that though. You can't think like that.
You're right.
Yeah, tell him.
You're right.
Tell him.
Drop the N-word right now, bro. Just kidding.
That's all I gotta say.
But those are my two dislikes, is that it's not up to date for today, but I get why. I'm understanding of both of the reasons, but those are the two things that I would say were downsides of the book, but they're not downsides if you just look past them.
Yeah. All right.
Did you have any dislikes for the books one?
It's just the tone, audiobook wise.
Being singular tone. Yeah, because you kind of drowned it out.
There's nothing else about the book you didn't like.
It's just he tries. You're like, oh, this guy, like, he's trying to shift the voices, but it's still like the same thing. I'm like,
I started drowning out. That's why I had to get away from audiobooks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can change the audio, like what type of voice they have. You can either put like girl, boy.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. You can even put a news, like a radio person to talk.
I got crazy. The Amazon Audible, and I got the monthly subscription.
Yeah, thing. I know what you got. Yeah.
So it's like I can get a free book every month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't think they let you change it on that one.
Damn, son, you got some fucking apps, dog.
Hell yeah, man.
You
47 pages of apps, dog.
You be playing games?
What? I used to back in the day.
Oh my god.
I don't have any games on my phone.
I don't got one app game on my phone, and I never have.
Now it's just running.
I have some, but I never use them.
I lied. I have chess.
I have food apps just so I can order faster for my guys when we're doing groups. So Dunkin' Donuts.
It's for you, bitch.
Hey, it's for me too. I want to be on the roof. What the fuck do you mean? And yeah.
All right. So I wanted to. Did you have any?
What I didn't like about the book, he had a lot of filler. I think
some of the stories weren't.
Yeah, bro. Like some stories were like 2 pages long, and it was for no reason. Like, there was a reason, but it didn't really have no effect on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's if he took out that filler from the book, I think it would have been.
Some of it was necessary though, and you got to because imagine if you're reading the perspective of I hate my life. If you're a person who like working a 9-to-5 job, you hate it. You go home and you're depressed because you hate your job, and then you're just trying to hope that you can retire one day from this job 30 years from now, and they're just depressed because I've been there. You know what I mean? I've been there, and I think that those people need to read examples of the things that you. And Juan and I might not need to see because we're further in that process. We've started that ourselves. You know what I mean?
But it was a good reminder.
Yes.
It was a good reminder.
Well, what's it called? There are some things like corporate America stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm not in that industry, so I can't relate to that.
Yeah.
Now, is it a dislike? I can see it as a dislike, but it can also be like
it's necessary for others.
Let me see what they're trying to say.
Just my whole thing about this book, it was kind of like how are you gonna call it the 4-hour work week and try to speed things along when you're kind of adding filler too? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. There was a lot of things that could have just been said and then that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get why he did a lot of it though.
No, yeah, I get it too, but
It's hard,
that's just a little dislike, just to have some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to have something to put in that section.
Just to have to put something in that section. But it was a good book.
It was hard for me to come up with dislikes for it though.
I give it like a 8.3. This book.
Damn, dude, we got a scale rating that we're gonna have to go over. Shit.
I'm sorry.
All right,
I'm sorry.
cool.
Yeah,
But now that we're on that, since Adrian started, I give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Because I look at this thing as a guide for somebody who's in that really bad, where they hate their life kind of thing.
It's a pretty good rating.
I think 9 out of 10. Bro, let's put it this way. Out of all the books that I've read, if someone asks me what's one book that I should, like if they don't read at all, if they ask me what's one book that I should read, I would tell them this book.
All right, so what's a low rating score book for you?
A low rating score book?
Yeah. And make it one that people know, like a book that's well known. Because a 9, you got to think like my boy David Portier.
Portnoy?
Portnoy, yeah. You got to think like him, bro. Because a 7's a good score.
Oof.
You know what I'm saying? So I think a 9's a little too high.
I don't know, bro.
I think a 9's pushing
see.
it. Because a 9 out of 10, that's like top tiered. That's some good ass pizza. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. But like as a general thing, because like so many books, there's books that focus on individual sections of this book, and this book is an all around
in one. Yeah, it's all in one. Yeah,
it kind of dabbles. It like sticks its toes in the water for every subject,
and that's a plus. That's a plus on the book. It really is. Yeah.
Like the Atomic Habits book that I read, I would say that one was like a 6 or a 7 out of 10, and I really like that book. But it only focuses on your habits. It doesn't focus. I mean, and it was really. I mean, don't get me wrong, really good book. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend that to somebody, but I would recommend this one first.
But then again, like
I'd have to go see it. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that one's probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Like it was a really good book, but some of the stuff it lost me on, it was too high level on some of the stuff that it talks about, and I'm further along in that one. I'd have to go. I don't even. Okay, I'll tell you one. There's a book called The Proximity Principle. It was needed for me at that time, but I would say that one was like a 5 out of 10.
Okay,
like a 5 out of 10, and it was good. But it's specifically talking about how to get around the things that you want to be in life. You know what I mean? And I was like, that one was good, but it was also kind of, I don't know. I don't know. Just to me, that was what I would give it.
Yeah, I just wanted to see your rating scale.
That's the reason I would give this one a 9 is because, like I said, if I saw somebody, if they said, Ryan, what's one book you would recommend to me to change my life? I would say if you're looking to start reading something that's going to start to change your life, because if you're going to change your life, it's going to take a lot. So I would say start with this book.
Well, this is the working man's book.
Yeah.
Too. They got to have a job, to apply this book. Really, honestly, in all truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do. Because, if you're not working...
This isn't a book on how to get a job. This is a book on how to change the job you have into doing something different.
How to change your lifestyle, too.
Yeah. What would you give it, Juan?
I mean, this is the second book I read. So...
Yeah. First one being David Goggins, right?
Yeah, that one's more for, like, people, like... It just
really dark places.
Yeah, it really is, bro. Yeah, that's a book to break out of something that's been haunting you for years, and you're down on life. And
I give David Goggins' book like a 7 out of 10. The first one.
Yeah, I have the book. I'll give it. I got a 7.7, bro. That's close. It's close to 8. Not close to a 6, but it's up there. And I just give it because it's a self-help book, I'm not really a big fan of self-help books.
It's a really good story.
It is.
Yeah.
It basically tells you, like, you think you have shit luck, well, here's mine, you know?
Yeah, and how I overcame
it. Everybody has shit luck, bro. Everybody has a story,
it's a good book. Like 7 out of 10 is really good.
Yeah.
Really good. But if someone asks me, like, should I read that book? If they ask me specifically, should I read that book? I'm like, yeah, it's a good book. But if they ask me, like, should I read that book over any other book? I'd be like, that's not. I mean, where are you at in life on whether I'd recommend that one first or not?
I usually tell people, like, what book do you recommend? I'm like, this is the first thing I ask. I was like, well, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Like,
what are you trying to get?
Like, what's up to, like, what are you doing in life? Or, like, where are you at? Like, what are you trying to get out of life or this book or a book recommendation? And then I start. I'm like, all right, well, I recommend this book. Boom.
Yeah.
I'll probably give it a 7.
7 out of 10?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I'm still learning about it. I can't really judge it completely because I haven't finished the book yet.
Yeah.
But I am learning a lot.
Do you beat yourself up for not having finished the book?
Yeah. Yes and no.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm not going to rush it.
Yeah,
like,
I got you.
I'm not... If I'm purposely trying to rush the book, is that something I wanted to do?
Right.
Or is it like I'm trying to go at my own pace?
Right.
David Goggins' book was just more of going to that dark place. I really like that book because It's just a different interest.
It's like what Ryan was saying. It's what you needed at that time.
Yeah.
The proximity one. That's what you needed at that
at that time. Yeah.
That's what
at that
Juan
time
needed
I
at
might have
that
rated
time.
it even higher too. And maybe I needed this one right now, and that's why I rated it so highly. Ask me again in a year, and it might not be this book.
Yeah. It's how many books you've read. You can't really rate books if you haven't.
It's all perspective.
But Juan, that book that he read, the David Goggins on
Can't Hurt Me. Yeah.
That was the book he needed.
Yeah, I needed that book.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
read that
favorite
book too.
so
Yeah.
Because it took me to a place where it was like, that's what got me into running.
Yeah.
It's
when
like,
I was working out too, that's when I read it too.
Yeah. It was like,
and you were running all the time with that book too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were. You were putting some miles under your belt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it still fires me up too when I'm running with somebody too. That fires me up so much.
Even when I think about that book, it fires me up.
Yeah, but like for this one, for somebody that's starting out a business, but like not, for instance, like Plant City, right? Mm-hmm. You have a lot of people that are like, what we call like they have a certain what's it called? Like they have landscaping business, they have construction, whatever you name it, all these types of things. Mm-hmm. This would be a good book, but try to read it. I know you're going to be busy throughout the day trying to do all these certain things, but for them to start, it's like, okay, find your customers. Who do you want?
Right. Yeah.
It's just like
picture this book as making you money.
Yeah.
Picture this book as like, this is going to make me money. Look, don't look at it as like it's taking time away from me. Look at it like this is going to take me from making 100K a year to 500K a year.
Yeah.
And working less and more free time.
More free time.
Yeah. Because it's like, even with the roofing, for instance, it would be me, my dad, and my brother. We'd be working nonstop. Sunrise, sunset, coming home late. And we're just doing roofing. So it's like, okay, we need to get this roofing license. How are we doing that? And then it's like, well, we just got to study for it. My dad would be giving me shit like, oh, it's because you don't want to study for it. I'm like, okay, you want to read a book or anything after work, after working in this hot sun? He'd be like, no. Be like, then how do you expect us to get the license if we're already tired to after work? Like, so then now it's like on the days I go to school, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, okay, with this time, if I leave at a correct time and I can make it to the library at Kaiser, I'll have a whole hour to myself just to think. And that hour, it's like, okay, roofing. So I'll have my roofing book with me. I'll have this book with me. I'll have, obviously, my school books with me as well. But for the school books, because I love my teachers love me. They're more like, I'm not saying they're lenient. It depends on the professor. The professor I have right now is more of like, just get it done. So I'll be like, okay, I can do this homework in class. Now for these, the whole hour there, it's like, let me quickly get the answers, get these like freaking layouts so I can give it to my brother. So then once I complete the test, I give the layout to my brother. My brother can finish it in like 5 minutes. So then instead of us like trying to get one roofer's license, we'll have two. So it's like, it's that constant battle. But for like the small businesses thing, it's like, bro, it tells you you're going to have some times there where it's just like, man, shit is just not working out.
Yeah, because he talks about it from his perspective. Yeah. Like he was working like fucking 14 to 16 hour days. And
crazy ass hours.
And just hated his life. And he was making really good money, but he just,
and that's
what's the point?
Yeah, and I related to that too. It's just like, look, like, I'm happy where I'm at in life, but I'm working so much. Am I actually happy?
Right.
It's like, bro, I'll come home and the only one there is my dog. And just like, bro, my dog's my world to me because like, what's it called? When I come home after a long day, whatever it is, it's like, I know this dog right here is no matter what is going to be happy to see me. And it's like, I need that energy because it's like, because I came to the house before my dog when it was like, when she wasn't there in the picture, it was just me coming home.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? How do you occupy yourself? With that loneliness? And it's like, you already have a shitty day at work. You could be working on your business, but that negative energy when you come inside the house, it's like, bro, I just want to drink, or I just want to do this, or I just want to do this.
Some grown man shit now.
You're just kind of escaping that life, and it's like, no, you're gonna wake up the next day doing the same shit.
Too many people. Oh, bro, I love how you just said that too. Like, too many people they're looking for ways to escape their own life instead of creating the life that they don't want to escape.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean? And that's what it is about being an entrepreneur, a businessman. You're creating something.
Yeah,
and it's your own vision. So it's like, you can't often be like, I see a lot of people trying to mimic other businesses. I'm like, bro, you're not being creative. It's like, but they're creative. I'm like, yes. They're creative because they're doing it their way. You're trying to mimic it. You're literally restricting your potential to being creative. Freaking bartending thing yesterday. I just have 6 different drinks there. It's like, yes, you can have the basic drinks like Sprite or vodka Sprite, Jack and Coke and stuff like that. I just put stuff like Cocoa Melon, freaking all these other things, and for the majority of it,
purple potion.
All of it ran out, and it's like there were only 2 drinks there left, only because there was a lot of grapefruit soda and tequila left over.
Yeah.
But either way, that was still But it's like you just got to be creative with it. Wake the fuck up.
So
I'm waiting. It looks like
it's a vibe.
It looked like
I
Ryan
was just letting it sink in for a second, bro. I was letting it sink in. So,
damn,
my list right now. So this is just takeaways. I'm gonna kind of go over this because we've mentioned a lot of this already. Takeaways from the book is for me was to define your life and what you want, because too many people don't. They don't define their life. They let their daily life be defined by how they feel in a moment instead of trying to craft. You know what I mean? That'd be like if you got in your car and you're like, I'm just gonna go. Where are you going? Oh no, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
The fuck? You have to pick a destination, motherfucker. Where are you going to? Or you just go? I mean, sometimes it's nice to just go.
Man, I do that a lot, man.
Yeah.
Like that's me. I've always been more of a I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of good friends, and I have a good amount of best friends. A lot of people say you can only have one best friend, but I don't believe that.
No,
I don't believe that for shit. You know, I have a lot of best friends that I can count on. Juan's one, you're one.
I'm Juan. Sorry.
Juan's one, you're one. I have a lot, man, and I for me sometimes a best friend can't like fix a void, you know. Sometimes I like being by myself. I love being by myself, you know. I get in my car and I just ride around, or I just go out to eat by myself, or I'll go shopping by myself, you know. It's just or sometimes I'll just go park at a park. I do that, dude. I do that a lot. If you really want to see me at a park by myself, I'll be sitting usually over there where the fountain's at in downtown Penn City.
Yeah.
I'll just park right there. I'll get out and I'll just people watch, bro.
I do it.
Like,
I do it a lot here.
It's some old. That's like some old man shit. But I really be on that. You know, I'll buy a water and I'll just sit down. I was bringing this book a lot. I'll read like
just peace,
bro. I'll read 3 pages. I'll put it down and I'll just stare at the fountain or stare like at the trees, and then I'll go back.
It's like meditation, bro.
Yeah,
it's like your own little meditation.
And I feel like a lot of people they look down on that sometimes, you know. Like a lot of people persuade you or perceive you to be well, you're Apex, like you love to party, like that's what you post, you know, like you're crazy, you're wild. But yeah, that's what I want you to see, you know. That's what I post on my Instagram.
Social media isn't real.
Yeah, it's not. And that's what lets a lot of people down about me. Like they see me like, oh, when we're gonna go out, you know, when can we go out? I'm like, oh,
I don't really do that much.
I don't really do that, man. Like I have a lot of videos from back then that I post just to post, you know, to make content. But that's not me. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to hang out, then I feel like there's a proper way to ask me. And if you really want to be that guy or a friend or whoever, you got to say, oh, well, let's go talk about this. You know, what do you think about this? And, you know, let's go get lunch and talk about this book or or let's talk.
I feel like I see you guys pretty often now, and I feel like it's because we're doing something that's productive. You know what I mean? I feel like that's you guys, like if I was like, hey, yo, Adrian, you want to come with me to the mall? You'd be like, the fuck? No, bro.
No, bro. I'm kind of busy.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, but if it's something about this, like this right here, I genuinely wanted to hear what y'all thought about this book and what you got from it and what you got from it, and maybe something I missed in the book that I didn't see or I didn't like misinterpreted, and I'm glad I came. You know
what's cool about this too is that a year from now, when we kind of forget that we read this book, not forget, but you know what I mean, like you don't, it's not as fresh that we can come back and listen to the podcast. And it's like a quick review of all the good stuff that we got in that moment of how we're feeling now. Yeah. That's what I like about doing the podcast like this. Now, the other thing I had is rethink what success looks like. I have a story in the book that I really wanted to read, because too many people view success as like Ferraris. And like to me, that's not it. It's better to try and fail than to live your life having never tried. That was one of my key takeaways. Don't wait until you retire to live the life you'd want at retirement.
Retirement is the worst case scenario.
Bro.
You like that, right?
Ooh, let it sit for a second. Let that simmer, dog.
When he said that, I was like, damn, bro. Like, is it like retirement is the worst case scenario? Like, this guy's telling me don't even rely on retirement. Don't don't even think about that. Like,
it's normally people's best option is the worst option. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, fuck, dude. Like, I was like, yeah, I don't want that,
bro.
Yeah, retirement's nice. I have something set out for retirement, but that's not my goal. You know what I'm saying? That's just like something everybody does.
One of the questions he prompts in there that as a thought exercise for retirement is and this is what I use to craft my life into what I am now is if you had $100 million, how much would that change your life?
It wouldn't.
Right. Because $100 million shouldn't change your life too drastically.
No,
and too
really
many people, it would change their lives drastically. That's why they play the lotto. Because they want to change their lives drastically, but they don't want to do it. They want someone else to give them a ticket to change their lives drastically.
It doesn't change your life. It changes your life, but not.
It shouldn't be a night and day difference.
It shouldn't, but sometimes it is.
Like for me, like I think about if you gave me $100 million right now.
I was about to ask you, what's your first thing you would do? Like first thing. Yeah.
First thing I would do.
Let's say it's in the bank already. Taxes are out. Like you paid everything.
Spend it how I want to spend it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would probably buy a house and I would build a podcast studio.
You don't think that's changing your life drastically?
No, because I'm already doing both of those things right now. I want to buy a house. I'm on route to buy a house, and then not only that, I'm already doing a podcast. So it's really just like.
But would
maybe
you
upgrade the equipment? Maybe upgrade. Like I would be.
You'd be working and everything.
The money would just accelerate the timeline of what I'm already doing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it would make a difference for me. Is it would just speed up the timeline. That's it. I would start the business that I want to start, which I'm going to do anyways. But I would have more. Money is a tool, right? So it would just give me more of that tool to speed up the timeline for it.
Okay.
That's it. Like I would the car that I'm going to buy, I would buy it sooner. What
would you buy?
My grandfather's drag racing car. I'd find whoever owns it, and I would make them an offer they wouldn't refuse.
Okay.
That's it. That's what I'd want. I wouldn't have a Ferrari. It's like a $30,000-$40,000 car. It's an old.
Do you know where
car.
It's at?
No, but I know how to find where it's at. But so I would find that and I'd buy that. If it's not available, like say if it's been wrecked or something like that, and it's been just destroyed, and I don't want that one, I would find one that's very similar to that and buy it.
Okay.
I'd buy a house. And then I would continue to do the podcast. I'd start a business. I would continue. Bro, it would just make what I'm already doing in my life happen faster. That's it. Okay. So that to me, it wouldn't be that life changing. It would just you would see things happen quicker. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to operate at the time of our of our finances, right?
Yeah.
So the next one on my list was to start a business. Two components are fundamental: continue learning and service. That's one thing he talks about too, because that's what you're really going to do once you hit that $100 million. You just want to continue learning and serve and providing a service. For people. Yeah. And I said, if someone is deeply unhappy with the direction of their life or their daily life, this book is perfect to start to shift your perspective in life. And if you're further along than that, it's still a good book, just less usable if you're already on the path. Like for us, this book is very usable, but like for somebody who already is like on a bad track, this would be a good book for them.
Yeah, this would be a really good book for them. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any key takeaways that you have noted? Those are just the ones I wanted to make sure I mentioned.
I didn't really get to that part of your notes, but I do. I really like this point right here. This is an easy point, but I thought it was good just for the average person to know. Distress is bad. Eustress is good. Eustress is the stimulus for growth. Be equally aggressive in removing distress and finding eustress. So there is a difference, There's a difference between type of stresses you have, and I feel like that's something that you should really take note of in your life. Like, see what's stressing you out that doesn't need to be there, as in like drama or having problems at work because you're not ready. Like you yourself are not ready for work that day, or like preparing your day.
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't prepare your day and you cause all this stress that didn't need to be there in the first place, maybe you need to change something.
Yeah.
And then having good stress, you need to know what good stress is, because let's say I have that problem a lot where I'm overworking myself. Not overworking myself, but I put myself in a position where if I would have done something earlier about it, I would have never had this stress.
Yeah.
So now I try to think two chess moves ahead, before I even give myself into that predicament of, damn, like I should have done this, so I didn't have to do this now.
Yeah.
Just keeping myself level-headed and finding the right type of stress, because stress is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, stress.
The right kind of stress.
You need stress in your life. Like, stress is a good thing, If you didn't have stress, then we wouldn't be motivated to do certain things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's the only key takeaway I have.
Juan, did you have anything you wanted to mention?
No.
Is there any parts in the book that you wanted to go over, Adrian? Like anything that you highlighted that was really stuck out to you? Because I have a bunch of stuff, but I don't need to go line by line through it on the podcast. It's just stuff that I like.
Go line by line. Not really. I don't want to give them too much. I feel like we talked really good about this book. I would just want to let people read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of things, bro. Like I could be here all day and talking about this book because it was a good book.
Yeah.
I rated it pretty good, and I'm glad you chose this book, bro. Yeah, it was a good book.
So I want to close out the part where we're talking about this book, and then move into the next part of the podcast where I want to talk about what book we're doing next and who's going to pick it, so on and so forth.
Okay.
So we can start that. That'll be how we close out the podcast.
Okay.
But to close out how we're talking about this book, I really want to read one story that I've read multiple times that he puts in this book that was super good. So I don't know if I'll get pulled from YouTube for saying this or not. If it just skips through real quick, on the podcast, just make sure then YouTube would let me. But let's see if we can try it. So this is this one was super big for me because it was like a realization hits you of like how crazy of a society we live in. So this one's called Fables and Fortune Hunters. So an American businessman took a vacation to a small coastal Mexican village on doctor's orders. Unable to sleep after an urgent phone call from the office the first morning, he walked out to the pier to clear his head. A small boat with just one fisherman had docked, and inside the boat were several large yellowfin tuna. The American complimented the Mexican on the quality of the fish. He said, "How long did it take for you to catch them?" the American asked. "Only a little while," the Mexican replied in surprisingly good English. "Why don't you stay out a little longer and catch more fish?" the American then asked. He said, "I have enough to support my family and give a few to friends," the Mexican said as he unloaded them into a basket. "But what do you do with the rest of your time?" The Mexican looked up and smiled. "I sleep late, fish a little, play with my children, take a siesta with my wife, Julia, and stroll into the village each evening where I sip wine and play guitar with my amigos. I have a full and busy life, senor." The American laughed, stood tall. "Sir, I'm a Harvard MBA and can help you. You should spend more time fishing and with the proceeds buy a bigger boat. In no time, you could buy several boats with the increased haul. Eventually, you would have a fleet of fishing boats." He continued, "Instead of selling your catch to a middleman where you would sell directly to consumers, eventually opening your own cannery, you would control the product, processing, distribution. You would need to leave this small coastal fishing village, of course, and move to Mexico City, then to LA, and eventually to New York City, where you would run your expanding enterprise with proper management." The Mexican fisherman asked, "But senor, how long will all of this take?" To which the American replied, 15, 20 years, 25 tops. "But then what, senor?" The American laughed and said, "That's the best part. That when the time is right, you announce an IPO and you sell the company's stock to the public and become very rich. You would make millions." He said, "Millions, senor? Then what?" "Then you could retire, move to a small coastal village where you would sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, take a siesta with your wife, and stroll the village in the evenings where you could sip wine and play guitar with your amigos." That story
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
was
that
my
story
favorite.
before.
Yeah.
Because he's like, "Oh, you're going to give up your retirement life now
Yeah.
to come back to it later?"
Later.
Like,
It don't make sense.
bro,
yeah.
it makes no fucking sense. And,
Yeah.
and I think that was the one that when I read that story like so many times because
Yeah, that's a good story. That's a really good story.
I wonder how many people who are really, really rich would look back on what they had to do to achieve their wealth and be like, how could I have enjoyed my life sooner? Because what if you die on your way to get rich? You know what I mean? Like on your way to be that guy who makes millions, and you hated your time getting there. I don't want to be. I'd rather have less money in life and enjoy my life more within reason.
Yeah,
You know,
within reason.
There's certain things where you're just like, bro, you eat pizza every day and watching movies. Like, is that the life you want?
But then again, like you have to look at it too. Like, why do people get rich? I'm saying, like, what is it about your life that doesn't make you happy?
Right.
Like, what are you not doing that you want to do? You know,
Right.
let's say, I want to be rich just so I can go on vacations, like all the time, just live it. Like, but what are you gonna do on those vacations? Like, you're gonna get bored. You know? You're gonna get bored. Like, I get bored going on a 3-day like vacation anywhere. You know.
Yeah.
I just want to be in my house, like chilling.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people have this misconception of life where you just need to be rich and have all this fancy shit,
Retire and have margaritas on a beach.
Yeah, like every day. Like, why do you think all these old people want to go back to work?
Yeah.
Why do you think they keep on working? It's because, like, the system made it think that we need to be working every day of our lives, and And maybe that's true, but I feel like you need to work to be a stable person. Like not all the time. You know, you don't need to work and bust your ass every day, but doing something that keeps your brain like working active. Because if not, it's just mush.
Yep.
And yeah.
Or like Jordan Peterson, what he said on a podcast once was like, okay, if you're working to have to one day retire to sit on a beach and have margaritas, it's like, how long are you going to sit on the beach and have margaritas for before you're like, okay, I you know, that's going to get old. It's that's only what you want to do now because you're not doing it now.
Yeah.
But it's like, to me, life is a balancing act. And I just love how he talked about too many people would let the pendulum swing too hard in either direction.
Yeah.
And you need to have a balance of all of those things. And he talks about like mini retirements and stuff. And,
yeah.
You know, I really like how that talks about how that Mexican fisherman guy was super happy with his life and everything he was doing, and this guy comes along and is like, no, you're doing it all wrong. And he's trying to convince him he's doing it wrong. He's like, oh, okay, bro. Oh, wait, so your story ends where mine begins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nah, bro, I'm not going to take 25 years to be right where I'm at now.
Yeah, and do that every day, just minus the fishing, even though he loves fishing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though he loves fishing.
He's just doing enough to have the life he wants.
Yeah.
And there's nothing lazy about that.
There's nothing lazy about that.
That's the hard part that you said I had to get through too.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of people tell me is like, I get that a lot too. Oh, well, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? I'm like, bro, like, I'm ahead of my schedule, you know? Like, I don't need a next thing right now. I don't, you know, everything's going good right now. Like, so what? I'm supposed to, all right, once I have a barbershop, I'm going to scale it to 4 barbershops off rip the next year? Like, no, dude. Like, it don't work like that. It takes time, you know? That's why for me.
And is that what you want? Do you want to build a barbershop empire, or do you want to live the life you want to live with the one barbershop you have? Like
for me, I'm pretty, I don't want to say bougie, but I do like the nice lifestyle, as in like going out to eat nice places. But I do that now.
Right.
I'm saying all I have to do is just save a little money, like eat moderate at my house, which is not bad because I like to eat healthy, you know? So I do everything I love to do now. And right now is a good time in my life. So
nice.
I'm happy with it.
Likewise.
Yeah. What about you, Juan? You're happy with your life right now?
I just want more time. That's it.
Bro,
that's all I want.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'll be so occupied. Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays. I'll be so occupied. My bad.
We'll put that fucking thing in your mouth, bro. Come on.
I'll be so occupied throughout the day. It's like, man, I just kind of just want to go to the gym. Like, just let me be at the gym. Zeus Training Hall by myself, loudspeaker, eating Skittles, you name it. Like, I'll be just chilling there.
You ever drink a beer while working out? I've seen people do that. Oh, no.
No, I don't know the policy.
Bro.
Have I thought about it? Yes.
They tell me that drinking a beer is like all right to work out. Like one beer at a gym.
It's carbs.
I don't know. I don't know.
I've seen professional lifters do it.
But like, what's it called?
In videos.
It's just not having enough time. So yeah, Sundays are usually my days off. So it's like one day off the whole week. Sometimes I'll get that random day where it's like raining outside, or it's like, hey, no roofing today.
Yeah.
Be like, great. There's no trailers. Very rarely I have to go dump them.
Yeah.
So usually by noon till like the end of the day, whatever, that'll be my free day. But that's only if it happens.
Yeah.
Sundays though, usually I just choose not to work.
You're time poor.
Yeah, but on those Sundays, like, all right, I already got to prepare for next week. And I usually try to do that, like, later in the evening or early in the morning. But, I would just like more time.
How do you work your Sundays?
How do I work my Sundays?
Yeah, like what do you do? Like, bro? Like,
so, average Sunday has been looking like wake up at 5, have coffee, read a little bit until about 6, do a podcast with my wife at 6, until about 7, then get after the podcast, go shower, get dressed, go to church at 8:45, church until probably about 9:45, 10, come back home, eat something real quick, get changed, chill a little bit depending upon the time of it, and then jiu-jitsu at 1:30. Typically 1:30 till about 3, and then typically that evening can be doing either hanging out with some people, meal prepping, sometimes grocery shopping. It just really depends. Like today I have to do some work on my truck, so I'm going to be doing some work on my truck after jiu-jitsu, and then because of this podcast being here today, I didn't go to church, but that's what my best Sunday is doing something like that, to where it's like basically until about 3:30. I would say it's about 4 o'clock when I'm done with jiu-jitsu, because you get filthy disgusting. You come back home. If I leave there at 3, I get back home at 3:30. By the time I'm showered and ready to do anything else, it's like 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really fulfilling day to me, because it hits like on all the levels. I was productive with working on the podcast. I was spiritually productive working on my spiritual, I guess, religious like side of my life.
Yeah.
And then I got to spend time with my wife, and then I got to go work on myself physically, and it hits on like all the things for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
but what about you?
Me, during the holidays now this month, like November, December, I try to slow down on a lot of things, but I think next year I'm gonna tackle it differently. I'm gonna try to hit the gym a little bit more. But since I've been working these late ass hours, like on a Sunday, a good Sunday for me is waking up like around 6. I usually, because I just wake up naturally at 6.
Me too.
I'm just around the house to like probably 8 or not, like 7, and then I go to Lakeland to my cousin's business where he sells carnitas, and I'm there like, hanging out with the family, eating a little bit, and then I'm home by like 10. I usually try to pay all my bills virtually, like on a Sunday. I cash in my Square, from work too, so I see how much I made and this and that, and then I try to cancel out like what I'm gonna spend this week, as in groceries and things like that. I try to do like a little like spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And then
your Sundays are really productive. Sounds like all of ours are trying to be productive, and for Juan's is trying to.
I'm trying to be unproductive.
Well, you're trying to be unproductive business wise. You're trying to be productive personally.
Yeah.
And then
which is it's a whole different mindset.
Oh,
yeah. After that, it's just from 12. Probably after 12, it's going to the gym. So I usually hit the gym like around 12:1. I'm there for like an hour and a half, and after that, it's just hanging out, man.
Yeah.
I try to hang out just on Sundays like that. Like I'll go to my cousin's house, or I'll ride around and go get some food somewhere nice, or I'll go chill with Juan.
Yeah.
Just spend the time good. At least I try to hit the gym. At least be productive in something. Yeah, and I started going to church a little bit more, so I'll hit up church too. Yeah. Sometimes I'm still.
Bro, I love Sundays.
Yeah,
Sundays are
a good
probably
Sunday.
My favorite day,
because I have Mondays off, but I like to work Monday sometimes. Yeah. So I usually pull like a 7 to 1. And then after that, since the bank's open, I usually go to the bank. Yeah.
Bro, I love that Sunday. Sunday is just like the day where you're kind of like half productive, half relaxing. That's what I like about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Every Sunday afternoon, I'm usually out.
Yeah.
I'm usually out. Enjoying my Sunday.
Because I don't know, that balance of being half productive, half unproductive, or like half leisure. I get that because leisure is productive. It's just productive in a different way. So half productive, half leisure, bro. I don't know what it is. That balance, those are the really good days.
That's why I like this book too, because he says less is not laziness. You can't think like that. Like, why do we work? To enjoy. Yeah. To enjoy our time, and I'm enjoying my time on Sunday. Yeah. That's why I have a lot of things to say about like people who are always like on go. Yeah. I'm like, for what, bro? Like, really, for what? Like, you're just gonna kill yourself. You're not even gonna. Let's say you die tomorrow. Like,
for what?
Yeah. You really have to think like that too. I know that's a.
I'm not scared of death anymore.
No.
Because I'm so happy with how my life is now. Yeah. I'm not scared of it.
Yeah, but now since Juan has a little bit more time, just hang out with Juan now. So
no more soccer.
It's usually good though, because if we do hang out, we're just talking about stuff like this. Yeah. So it's productive. Yeah. In my way, it's productive.
Yeah, I always try to go for one restaurant on Sunday, because it's like you work hard for your money. Might as well go enjoy it for a bit.
Where are we going today?
I don't know. I want pasta.
Pasta. Pasta. Where's the best pasta places you? Well, man, where's a good restaurant you recommend? The Brunchery was good. You put me on.
Canopy Road's better, but
what's a good pasta place you've been to?
Pasta place, bro. I don't know, man. I don't normally go out for pasta. Bro, have you ever been? There's a place in Brandon called Olive Garden. You been there? Gotcha.
I was thinking about going there this week though.
Olive Garden's not a bad spot though. But what were you gonna
say? Villa. What?
What were you gonna say?
What was that Italian place we went to?
Olivia's. Olivia's is good. I've never had pasta there.
Stefano's.
Yeah, that
place was pretty good.
I've never been there.
Stefano's like authentic Italian.
Normally, I don't really go out to real nice places, to be honest.
We saw Trent. We went to high school together.
We saw Trent.
No,
The
middle
fo-
school together.
The football player.
Oh,
Bass.
oh, yeah, big dude. Yeah.
He's a
Trent
bartender
Bass.
there.
He's a bartender there, bro.
Oh, nice.
He was cool, man.
Cool, nice.
I haven't seen him in years, and when me and Juan went, we were like, "Damn, bro, you're working here? Like, hell yeah, that's badass."
Bro,
Yeah.
and he's up there.
Yeah, he's up there in that line, bro.
He was making like some with the s'more,
Yeah,
some
bro,
s'more
some
cocktail.
badass drinks, dude. Like,
Where's this at? Is this in Tampa?
Elegant, yeah.
Yeah.
Ybor.
Ybor.
But
Okay.
it's Stefano's. They
Okay.
made that restaurant out of I forgot what utility place it used to be there.
Let's go one day.
Bro, I'm
Let's plan a time to go. We'll do that off podcast. But okay, so to not let it get too far out of the way, where we're just talking about food, because we can do that off the podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to make you go hungry after listening to a book. So who wants to pick the next book? Do you guys want to just go like a circle like this or a circle like that? Like, how do you guys want to do it?
Yeah, I'll go last.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah.
finish these.
I was about to say just rock paper scissors right now. One go.
Well, why'd you do it like that?
Just one go.
No. Get the hell out. Jesus. Pick a damn book.
All right, I'll pick a book later though. I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna go to some books I wanted to read, and then I'll like navigate it down to like what our interests are, and I'll pick one.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the next book. And if somebody's wanting to, I think on the next podcast that we do for a book, because I don't know about you guys, but I would like to keep doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
this
'cause
is fun. Yeah, I like this.
One of my goals for 2024 that I've already started is to read a book a month. And so if we can do this podcast every month, it's going to help me stick to reading the book. So if that's the timeline works for you guys, I would like to keep doing that. So, and then we'll just keep rotating. Because I was thinking, let me read my note too, because I wrote it down. Because we should measure how much this podcast affects our lives.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is we should make some metrics that we can actually like put a number to it.
Yeah.
So let me find it, because I thought this shit sounded really good. I said we should notate each of our net worths as well as our happiness level, like our perceived happiness level, and the other things, any other things that we can think of, but measure how doing this book podcast impacts our life. Like, so that way a year from now, like maybe the end of 2024, we can look at how these numbers have changed, whatever
Yeah.
metrics we can assign to it, to see if this is beneficial.
I like that.
Because then anybody who's like, oh yeah, the book podcast is fun to listen to, but I don't know, bro, I can't commit to reading, a book a month or something like that. We can be like, this is how it has changed us. What do you guys think about that?
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Cool. All right, so we'll do that off the podcast, but and then you'll pick a book. When you pick a book, can you announce it? We'll post it on all of our socials what the next book is. So
Yeah.
anybody who does listen to this podcast, I'll try and maybe because you'll probably pick it before the podcast is posted. So if you read the description, I'll put it in the description of this podcast what
Okay.
our next book will be. If you want to read it to have to talk about for the next podcast,
Yeah.
but in the meantime, I highly recommend reading the 4 Hour Workweek. I thought it was really
Yeah,
good.
really good book.
Yeah,
Really good
good
book,
book.
guys.
Anything else you guys want to leave?
I'm
Oh
good.
man.
All right, bro. We'll talk some more off the podcast, but thank you guys for
Yeah.
doing this. Appreciate you guys helping me keep accountable
For sure,
with this
brother.
too. So,
Hell yeah, I appreciate y'all. Next time, show up a little earlier.
Hey,
You fool.
I need my coffee.
all right, guys. Appreciate it. See you guys. This episode of Somehow We're Adults is over, but if you'd like to support the podcast, you can subscribe to one of the levels of the Patreon, where we will release bonus episodes that can't be found anywhere else. Any of the money that we get from the Patreon would be used to upgrade old equipment as well as get new gear so that we can make the best podcast for you to tune into. You can also follow the podcast Instagram at Somehow We're Adults, where I share clips and content about the podcast, and the link in the bio will take you to any of the Somehow We're Adults pages. I encourage you to check out another one of the episodes if this is your first time listening, and if you're a repeat listener, thank you for your support. I love making the podcast, and I hope you tune in for future episodes of Somehow We're Adults.